When it comes to trading, the most important aspect, but the most under talked about aspect is psychology. The psychology when it comes to taking trades, managing trades, your risk, and so forth. All of these aspects are not talked about enough. And so instead of talking about another strategy, how to analyze charts, and all of that, today we're going to pivot and we're going to talk about the most important aspect of trading, and that is trading psychology. And we're going to do it with the help of our friendly Stoics. So let's get right into it. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Matt L, and I'm a full-time forex trader living in Montreal, and I'm also studying naturopathy on the side. If you get value from this video, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out with the algorithm. And with all of that being said, now that we're friends, let's get into the video. So I have been interested in Stoicism for a while, but for far too long, I've been putting off my study of it.
Vincent, I'm going to be a Stoic now! I've decided I'm going to be a Stoic.
Every day I reflect upon death, brother!
Now, I am anxious to read a whole bunch of Ryan Holiday's books. He has tons, but my father gifted me one that he highly recommended I read, and that is this guy right here, How to Be a Stoic by Massimo Piglucci. I think that's right. And I just finished it and it was really, really valuable. And I read it through the lens of a trader and how I can apply Stoic philosophy to my trading. And I've learned a few things that I think have really helped me and have really shifted my perspective on how I go about looking at trading. And I think that there's a few things that can help you out as well. So we're going to talk about that. When it comes to Stoic philosophy, there's a lot of different things that you can look at and that you can study. But one of the most common and one of the most important aspects of Stoic philosophy is the idea of the dichotomy of control. And it's amazing how such an ancient philosophy still applies so well to this day. What the dichotomy of control says is that you only have control over a certain number of things in your life, but there are so many things that you simply cannot control, and we spend so much of our attention and so much of our energy focusing on those things that we can't control. That's where the dichotomy lies, and what's absolutely crucial is that we shift our focus from these things that we cannot control, that are outside of our control, and we shift it towards things that we can control, that are within our grasp and within our means. And you can apply this to absolutely anything in your life. I'm sure if you were to take a quick scan, you would see that there's so many things that we focus on that simply are outside of our control, and it's pointless. So we're going to look specifically at the dichotomy of control and how it relates to our trading. When it comes to trading, there are in fact quite a few things that are within our control. We can choose what type of analysis we do, how much effort we put into our analysis, whether we apply fundamental data, news, how we draw our trend lines, our fib levels, all of these things, how we decide to enter a trade, to get out of a trade, all of these things. But what makes trading so absolutely difficult is that we're often brought up in life thinking that the harder we work, the better our result will be. But trading is in contrast to this. Oftentimes we can put extra effort into an analysis and into a trade only for it to be a losing trade. I've been there so many times and it is incredibly frustrating. And I think so many of the pains and frustrations from trading lies in this fact that we haven't decoupled ourselves from this idea that, oh, if I just work harder, my trading will work out. And that simply is not the case. And that is where this Stoic dichotomy of control comes into play. Epictetus, a very famous Stoic philosopher, writes about this example of being on a voyage. You're about to set sail and you can choose your ship, you can choose your helmsman, you can choose when to leave, what day, at what time. But once you eventually set sail, you simply cannot control what the winds do, what the sea does, and how hard your men work. They're simply outside of your control. And it's imperative that you remember that no matter how hard you try, these things are simply out of your control. They're up to divine chance, and you just need to let them be and focus on the things that are within your control. Bring it back to trading. This means that we need to come to terms with the fact that no matter how hard we work, no matter how much effort we put into an analysis, we're simply always going to have losing trades. There's simply no way to avoid it. And psychologically, it makes a lot of sense. There's nobody watching this that's gonna say, no, it's impossible. You can have 100% win rate. But coming to terms with that when it comes to actually trading, for myself at least, has been very difficult. Oftentimes we'll know something intellectually, but not intuitively. And so I've been meditating on this idea, and slowly I've been coming to terms with it, but it's always a work in progress. Cicero, another famous Stoic, has another really good example of the archer, of how the archer can choose his bow, he can choose his arrow, he can choose how far back to wind up the arrow and when to release it. But the second that he releases the arrow, it's simply out of his control. The wind can come. There's a whole bunch of different factors that could move the arrow off of its intended course. And so Cicero says, the actual hitting of the mark is to be chosen, but not to be desired. And I think that this is so powerful. When it comes to trading, we can choose what it is that we want, but we cannot desire that same thing. We need to work towards it, but we can't be attached to it. While I was reading this, I was really amazed in the similarities of yogic philosophy, specifically in the Bhagavad Gita. The whole premise of that absolutely beautiful book is that you're entitled to your actions, but not the fruits of your actions. And this is something that I have been thinking about for a long time and how to implement it into my trading. You're entitled to the actions of your trading, how you trade, what you do, and so forth, but you're not entitled to the fruit of those actions. So all of those pips that you're up late at night dreaming about and all of that money, you're not entitled to it. And this is the exact same thing that the Stoics are saying. You can choose the direction that you want to go, but you cannot desire it, because getting and arriving at that destination is outside of your control. Marcus Aurelius says, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Again, another powerful quote. So all of this brings us back to our trading. How can we implement this Stoic philosophy into our trading? And I think it's simple, but it's not easy. Next time you're taking a trade and you're thinking about closing it early, or you're running a loss and you start to get absolutely stressed, or you just do something that's outside of your trading plan, you need to remember that only certain things are within your control. If you have a goal of making 6 figures this year, or getting 30 pips every single day, or 10% on your account a month, well, the cold hard truth is it's 100% out of your control. You can't decide what the market does. You can't decide how many pips it offers, and you can't decide how much money you're going to make. You simply need to focus on the things that are within your control, your analysis, implementing that analysis, and letting the trade do whatever it's going to do. And you have to leave the rest up to chance or divine providence, or however you see the world. Intellectually, it might be an easy thing to grasp, but the implementation, I'm still working on it, and I think that it's something that is absolutely worthwhile for you guys to consider implementing in your own trading as well. We continue to read and be obsessed with the Stoics, and I think there's good reason for it. I'm really looking forward to making more videos about Stoicism, philosophy, and how they relate to trading and life in general, but I'm happy that this is the first one. I hope you guys got value from it. Let me know in the comments section what you think about Stoicism and the Dichotomy of Control. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.